Hey everyone, we are
Hey.
back. I don't know why it feels like it's been so long, but it
does.
feels like it's been forever since we've seen you guys. We are finally live again today. I am Jess.
No,
Oh.
you're Shasta.
That's how used I am to her going first, but I'm not Jess. I'm Shasta.
I'm Jess.
We're the chicks in charge, and we have a super awesome guest for you guys today. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Live with Drive guy, but can you guys tell us what his name is? We're going to go ahead and bring him up, but see if you recognize him.
All right.
Oh.
There he is.
Oh, is it Hollow Man?
Oh, who is that?
Kevin Bacon, is that you? Where you at?
It is not me.
Optimus Prime?
Batman.
Oh no, or was that Darth Vader?
No, that was the guy from Batman. You know?
Bane.
Yes.
Oh.
I am.
Oh, it's Steve Roessler. Hi.
Hey.
I know you.
Hey, friend.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you ladies doing?
So good. It's
We
so nice
are.
to have you on.
We're so excited to have you on the show today.
Yeah, I finally made it after X amount of months. I mean, I don't know what to really say, but I am always happy to see y'all.
Yeah.
We're so happy to see you.
We're so happy that you're here. You've
And
had
it's
some,
Chief's Day, so
yeah, you've had some big moves going on in your life lately. What have you been up to?
Oh, well, we finally finished the move in Nashville, so that's always been a blessing. So yeah, we moved from St. Louis to help pursue our daughter's singing and songwriting career. So if anybody is listening, I would tell you to follow Jenna Roessler. So anyway, I'm always going to plug her, but yeah, on the weekends and even during the week now down here in Nashville, they do these singer songwriting courses. So it's pretty wild to kind of listen to songwriters and how they create songs.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm learning a lot, trying to be a sponge in a brand new industry. So
What would you say is the biggest difference living in Nashville as opposed to St. Louis?
oh my gosh, everybody's so much nicer.
Really?
Oh, even Jenna, like they went to the grocery store for the first time, again, 2 months ago. Jenna came back, she goes, Dad, 3 people said hello to me and I don't know who the hell they are. And I was like, Jenna, you're in the South, it's just, everybody is so nice. I mean, me and my wife walked the dog the other day and we even commented, like, we're just, walking the dog and like 4 cars passed us in the neighborhood. Every one of them waved, It's just, those are the little things that make, I think, a huge difference, but everybody is so nice. Our neighbors are great. Wherever we go out for the songwriting thing, everybody's just so approachable. So it's always refreshing. I love St. Louis. I still think St. Louis is a little bit like that. Just not as much, maybe, probably where you guys are at, right? I mean, everybody's friendly and, you guys are Joplinish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I
everybody's
wouldn't say
nice.
everybody's super friendly around here. I will say
they're mostly on drugs.
Yeah, mostly on drugs. I will say when we went to, was it Dallas that we went to? And everybody was where was NIADA at? Was that Dallas?
No, NIADA was Vegas.
NADA
was Dallas.
It was at NADA. I came home and I'm like, everybody was so nice there.
Mm-hmm.
So friendly. Everywhere we went. That was where we went to Whataburger and we had that
Yes
girl and we were like, will you move to Joplin and come work for us? It was so amazing. The best customer service for a fast food joint I think I've probably ever witnessed in my life. She was super amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard the accent as much. That's the only thing. I was a little disappointed. I thought there would be more of an accent. Like my wife's from Kentucky, so she would say, "Hi, would you like a piece of pie?"
That sweet Southern accent.
And you don't hear too much of a twang. I mean, there's a little bit, but not as strong.
Yeah.
Something that surprised me about a place that has an accent that I would have never guessed is people in West Virginia. They have such a Southern twang that you would never imagine, because like that's almost Northeast, but they're considered Midwest. Mm-hmm. But they have such a twang up there that it shocked me. Like the first time I talked to people from West Virginia, I'm like, oh my gosh, are you from like Texas or Alabama? And they're like, no, I'm born and raised here. I'm like, you guys just talk like that? Like, huh. But they're super nice too. Like,
oh yeah. I mean, like I said, it's like that's everybody loves Nashville. I just was downtown last night entertaining some folks, and so it was kind of cool to go out there and just even walking around. Everybody just just downtown. Everybody's from out of town, so I think everybody when they come in to visit, they're expecting that Southern hospitality. But it was pretty cool. I mean, and you just approach anybody. Like I said, I didn't know because I'm still getting familiar with where to park. I'm like, hey, where's a good place to park? And the guys are super helpful. I mean, I don't know. You just tell the difference.
Have you had any near celebrity run-ins with any country music stars?
Not yet. The only one that I did, because there are a lot of people down here. One of my buddies, he's friends with Neil O'Donnell, who used to be a quarterback for the Tennessee Titans.
Wow.
As well as Pittsburgh Steelers. And he just said, hey, man, I'm meeting up with a buddy. Let's go out to dinner or whatever, because he drove up 2 hours. And so we hooked up. And so I got to eat dinner with Neil O'Donnell and stuff. And he was, it was really cool. He's writing a book called One Man Speaks in a Huddle. And it was pretty cool to kind of hear like some of his stories in football. And actually talking about DC-20, I was telling him, I said, man, I'd love to coach you and be a speaker and talk about that. Because I think a lot of people always relate to sports analogies. And he was telling how like a play cost him the whole Super Bowl when he was in Pittsburgh. So it's pretty wild.
Wow. That's cool.
That's the only run-in I had so far.
Well, and that's pretty cool considering you've only been there a couple months so far.
Yeah. And my daughter did go out. I mean, I'm going to hack up his name, so I don't know who it was, but apparently she's songwriting with a guy who's the cousin of some famous artist.
Okay.
But everybody knows somebody here in Nashville. It is kind of interesting. One of the coaches we're looking at, knows the Taylor Swift story and things of that nature. So it's pretty cool how everybody is, that's been here a long time. They have some relatable experience with somebody, shape, or form. So
right.
Yeah,
that's super awesome. I'm super excited for you and Jenna. I mean, how awesome is that for her to have her entire family back her and move to Nashville just to show their support? I mean, that says a lot about you and your wife as parents and about how amazing Jenna is. And Shasta and I haven't even met her. So
yeah.
Well, it was a long drawn out decision because I love St. Louis, but the thing that, I still always remember this. And I've told the story 100 times already, but it is kind of a cool story. I was flying up to Boston and, they were egging me on for literally a year about moving to Nashville. And we were looking at Belmont. I mean, there's a whole other story about it, but I really just was tied to St. Louis. I don't want to leave St. Louis. I love, it's just my hometown. But I just traveled so much, and my wife, my daughter sacrificed quite a bit, me not being around. And I just woke up literally one day and I just said, who am I to not let her pursue her dream? I mean, that's really it. I wasn't trying to be really deep about it. And I just said, I talked to the guys with, my partners and just said, hey, it's okay if I, take this journey and try it. I got nothing to lose and everything to gain. I literally told Jenna, I said, you're my $1 million horse that I'm willing to bet on. Let's just move on this. And, what's funny is she thought I said whore. Okay. So I even, I said, you're my horse. You're my horse. I was like, please, so anyway, but no, so yeah, it was we did this very quickly. And so a lot of headaches came with it, but we're finally settled in.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
I love that for her. Nashville is such a city of dreams for musicians, and where so many of them just get such that great start. And there's so many people there to help them too, and other artists. And I hear great stories from so many musicians that did get their start there of how much support is in that city for them. So I think
they do. And we just played at the Bluebird Cafe like 2 weeks ago for the first time. So that was really cool.
That's
awesome.
Fun.
I love that for you guys. So you mentioned DC-20 earlier, and you guys have another one coming up in October?
We do. Yeah. It's October 23rd and 24th. This one is geared towards marketing and internet. And what we're trying to do is get DriveCentric stores and even non-DriveCentric stores to kind of have a place to come and collectively share ideas, but also just to network with one another. So yeah, we're happy to have a couple people like James Kurtenbach from Shomp Automotive. This guy is just real brilliant when it comes to marketing, what he does for the Shomp Automotive group. And then Sammy from the Walzer Auto Group. And so they're going to share what they do from a marketing side with other marketers and then internet people that do marketing too. But yeah, we're going to start opening it up to more non-DriveCentric stores and think of it as being an educational, progressive resource for other dealerships to come and learn.
Did I see in the announcement too that this is also going to have some inclusion for some BDC and BDMs as well?
Yeah, it's going to be marketing and internet directors. So we're trying to. I was thinking about this the other day because I was talking to a couple of buddies that are selling using DriveCentric, and I would love to almost do one for just salespeople, where salespeople. The question I have for dealers is, would they invest in having like their salespeople come in to like, let's say, bring 2 salespeople in per store and learn new methodologies of really selling using DriveCentric and their communication strategies, different aspects. So, I mean, I've thought about a lot of different things with what we can do with DC20, but right now, like, we're just doing 3 a year, and it's hard to put on a show. So I totally see what these trade show companies are doing.
Right. So is this, would this one in particular in October be best for marketing directors and internet managers, or really anybody in the store who's interested in learning about this?
Yeah. It's, again, if the content is more geared, because we'll have the other shows we did were for like GMs, GSMs, and things of that nature. So we're trying to get like people together so they can collaborate. I would hate for, I mean, not that a general manager couldn't come, but right. If I could get my marketing person to talk with like a Sammy or James Kurtenbach or other people, that's, we want everybody to kind of, work it. You just as literally they're going to walk out of there and they're going to have friends all across the country that are marketing people that they never talked to. And that's what I think. I think marketing people, especially even BDC directors, they may feel like they're in their own little bubble and they don't talk to so many people, like maybe pay plan idea differently, or you know what I mean? Or how they can manage business rules differently with this new age. So that's what we're trying to do. It's more of a dealer show, but we're trying to get the specialties together specifically so they can collaborate.
I think that's really cool. Shasta and I have talked a lot about how internet directors and BDC managers and directors don't get the same opportunity as a lot of the other departments in the store, and how important it is that we kind of act as that connection for them to gain that network. I mean, Shasta and I get such a rare opportunity to go to all of these conferences and meet all of these amazing people like you, Steve, that these other BDMs and business development directors, they don't get that. And a lot of times they get left out of that. And it's so important for them to grow as well, as they're such an important part of the dealership. And in order to keep everything running smoothly, everybody has to have that education and have those connections. And I think that's a big reason why Shasta and I wanted to start this podcast, was to help people that couldn't make it out to the conferences connect with other people in the industry. So I think it's really cool that you're doing something to bring them together.
Yeah. And the best part about it is you don't get lost in a show. We usually have about 65, 70 people. At least that's what's been the average. We've actually had to say no to several folks because, we want to make sure it stays kind of like a niche type, and that's what I think a lot of these shows are doing. I mean, you're seeing a lot of spinoffs of these shows to, even, like I know some other folks are building out a show just like what we just did. And I think it's important. I think if you're going to invest in products, you should be able to network with other dealers and how they're using the products and get better with it. And actually, I took that idea from the medical industry, because if I had a neurosurgeon that was learning a better procedure, I could fly him down to Miami so he can do, instead of 2 procedures a day, he did 3 procedures a day, which increased his revenue, his income, yada, yada, yada. So I looked at that model coming into automotive, and that's how DC20 was kind of invented.
That's a really good idea. And especially if he can collaborate with others and then, teach others, this is how I do it. And then others start picking up on that. And then before you know it, it spreads like a wildfire.
Well, you just need more voice. I mean, it's just like anybody, like you guys going out there and you guys are saying, like, you get people on the show, but it's still an army of one voice. And that's the thing, when I'm going out there, let's say I'm talking to these OEMs or educating the OEMs, I'm really hoping there's synergies between our messages. So dealers hear the same message, or BDCs hear the same message. It's not just one voice, one person's opinion. It's literally a culture that, it's hopefully changing in automotive. And people may not agree with what our message is. I mean, it is what it is, right? Everybody's going to have a different message based on what they're promoting. But I'm always trying to think of the greater good of the automotive industry, where, how practices are changing, whether they're on drive or not. It's just, I mean, how customers are buying cars is how they're buying cars, no matter what they're using.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And it leads into a topic that we were talking about before the show, and that we spoke about a couple weeks ago, that not enough people are talking about. And I think it's because a lot of dealers aren't ready for the conversation. And we've talked about it on the show before. And there are people out there talking about it, but it's, how to properly use AI.
Yep.
And there's right ways to do it and there's wrong ways to do it. But you and DriveCentric were kind of really the first ones to really do it, from what I can see, in the CRM.
Correct. Yeah, no, it's true. It's, I mean, there's a lot of good AI tools out there. There's nothing, I think all the technology, how they program it, there's a lot of great tools out there. I think the unique feature we have is it's managed inside the CRM because it's built within the CRM. So, and then you have ChatGPT, and we can program a lot of things with data points, because that's how you have to look at CRMs are all database management tools. But what you have to be thinking about is, can I leverage technology to create conversational marketing within the database so my people become responders versus like I'm doing the task to do the task. I don't know what I'm doing, but we can automate a lot of that stuff so people are more effective, and it's stirring up leads inside DriveCentric. So, but yeah, I mean, the way I go out there and teach the AI, or the way I would tell your listeners, is if you have technology, you have to understand how it works. So I can work and do other things around it. And I would tell you, like, my favorite analogy I tell everybody is, I don't know if you or you guys have a Roomba at your house, but I guarantee if you have a Roomba, you don't sweep as much, right? You mop, right? Now you may spot sweep. Okay, you may spot sweep. Let's be real. And so I'm not saying you're going to spot connect with your customers. You can see the AI doesn't do anything. You like that? What's happening?
Jordan Cox, it's so great seeing 3 chicks in charge all on one screen. Love you, Steve Roessler.
Well, that guy, I'm telling you, tell him to get his skateboard and ride out of town. I mean, you know, where do you see a 50-year-old man on a skateboard these days? I don't know. I mean, but whatever. Like, dude, there's cars. But anyway.
This comment thread's about to pop off.
Thanks, Jordan.
Best digs at Steve in the comments.
Yeah,
really. Dig on me all you want. I got a comment for everything. But anyway, but you know, if you have a Roomba, like what I was saying is, you know, the AI is like, say, texting and emailing, then why wouldn't we go out there and have our people make the phone call and send a video? So that's how you have to look at it. And if the AI is getting you communication back, I don't have to make a phone call. I think what we have to teach, you know, I don't care if it's BDC, if it's salespeople, managers, but you know, even at DriveCentric, I tell my team, I said, well, you have to leverage the forms of communication to earn the right to get a phone call. Exactly. And that's the practice. We scheduled probably a lot of this through text or, you know, obviously email. We don't get on the phone and say, oh, you want to do this podcast? You know, it's like, hey, we can set this all up via text, and then it's like a mini appointment. That's what I'd like to think about, is you have an actual appointment, but when you have a conversation, schedule it like it's a mini phone call appointment.
Yep, exactly. And that's the crazy thing is it's so hard to change the mindset of people in this industry away from even phone calls. You know, our team, you know, I'll show them the importance of having a good conversation over text message or even email, and getting that engagement, and how you may never even have to talk to a customer over the phone to get them into the showroom, and they'll die on the phone call hill before they even attempt to have a solid conversation over text message. And it's like, guys, text messaging is so much easier. All the while they're ringing, they're sitting there on their phones texting. It's like, guys.
Well, but that's the thing. And Shasta, you and I talked about this before, Jess, but I mean, like, here's the thing. And this is actually my presentation I'm doing at Digital Dealer. So I'm kind of giving a little bit of the farm away. But I have a slide where it just goes out there and say, what do you celebrate? If I go out there and make 100 phone calls, 100 emails, 100 text messages, 100 videos, what do you celebrate? And you're celebrating the activity in that case. Now, if I know that you get 9 calls, like, you know, conversations on phone calls, you really need to celebrate those 9 conversations. Just took 100 things to do it. And then my question is, were those real conversations? But now if I had 100 text messages, I got 35 customers talking to me. Why don't we celebrate that? You know, and that's what I tell even our guys, like, I could care less what my people do to drive sales. All I care about is how many demos are you scheduling, which would be like an appointment. I don't care how you get it. Schedule the appointment, do your demo with DriveCentric. And I did that in other industries, but that's what you have to go out there and talk about and celebrate is, forget about managing 100 calls, 50 emails a day. It's brain damage. I'm sorry, brain damage. Go out there and track the how many engagements you're getting per day. That's what we need to do.
Exactly. Petra says, the industry is changing and we have to adjust with it. It's okay to try new things to get better results. I love Drive because it allows us to work those who have engaged with us versus just completing tasks.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Engagement is where it's at. And that's where we have to focus our attentions. It's not just do the task over someone that hasn't engaged with us over 120 days. If somebody's engaging with us right now, that's going to take priority over someone that hasn't engaged with us in 120 days.
Well, and Steve, you did a really good presentation at NIADA. Are you dating your internet leads? And that was one of my favorite sessions that you did because it really dived deep into engagement and the AI GIFs and what the benefit is in text message engagement as well.
Yeah, well, I just think if we're going to talk about engagement strategies, I try to, I mean, there's a lot to cover obviously there, but I just try to look at it as like, just talk to people like they're your friends, their family. I don't, why do we make it so different? And I think that's the thing is everybody, if we go out there and study the communication of the stores, the presentation I'm doing, this digital dealer, I'm just fed up with the transactional communication versus conversational transactions, you know, or conversational commerce, let's just call it, because people want to, believe it or not, have a genuine conversation. I can't tell you how many times I'll see a communication coming in DriveCentric where the customer says, hey, I'm sick with 2 grandbabies. And you don't even acknowledge the 2 sick grandbabies. You just say, well, when can you come in? You know, drives me insane. There's no, if somebody said, hey, I can't come in there for an appointment because I'm going on a 2-week vacation. Okay, I'll see you when you come back on vacation, come back. Why would you say, man, I wish I could take a 2-week vacation? You know, you almost have to, and that's what I'm trying to show is like, I'm creating a new acronym, for this new show. I'm not going to give it away, but part of the acronym is going to be understanding how to structure a conversation going back to the customer by listening to what they said, like acknowledge it, and then how to respond to that. So that people just got to pause and let your salespeople build a relationship through, I don't care if it's email, text, or phone, just build a relationship. That's what people want.
You have to be able to show that empathy to your customers. I mean, if a customer says, I just got into a car wreck, cool, when can you be here is not the right answer to that. Oh my gosh, are you and is everybody else involved okay? I'm so sorry to hear that. Let's show some empathy. Show your customers that you care. You will get a customer for a lifetime.
Yeah. Like, I mean, who in the world right now, if I'm in the Kansas City market, Joplin market, if you're not going out there talking about the Chiefs today, how stupid are we not to acknowledge the first day of football? Now, you may get somebody, if somebody is not into football, they may say, well, I'm not really a football fan. Well, you just got some information right there, not to mention football to this customer. You know what I mean? It's all good. You know what I mean? But, if you're a football fan, why wouldn't you be bringing that up in your conversation? Because it is true conversation.
Right.
Yeah, it's the talk of the office today. Either people did their football picks or they made their fantasy draft team or, everybody's going to be watching a game tonight or they're not.
And if you're Shasta, you messed it all the way up.
Yeah, I either messed it up or I did really good. I don't know. I did my first fantasy football draft last night. And if you're friends with me on Facebook, you probably saw it last night and go feel free to judge me because
we'll find out at the end of the season.
Yeah, we'll find out.
I'll tell you something else I'm kind of excited about. Now, this is for coming out of NIADA. I was working with a lot of independent stores, and they're not big lots and stuff. But I don't know even if some other stores would do this. But I thought it was kind of cool. One of the guys that I was talking to, I said, what you ought to do? You got such of a small lot. Why don't you name your cars?
That's cool.
And so what he started doing was he started doing videos and he would name his cars. And it was just kind of funny how, the responses he got. And I think that's a really good little thing. Like, you go to the PetSmart and they got dogs, cats, in the cage. And that's how you bond with it. And all of a sudden now the car is not just a car. It's like I was saying, have a Star Wars theme. And I would be saying, hey, I got Chewbacca behind me, whatever. And whatever, I would do something kind of fun and name all the cars. So all of a sudden now I want to ride Chewy, or I want to, I don't know. It'd just be kind of something fun to do, but just another way to get engagement with your customers and see if they're listening to the video. It's almost like a little mini quiz. So anyway, just something fun I thought I'd throw out.
How do you not engage with that if you aren't paying attention to it and be like, why did you name it Chewy? Right. Well, it's brown and
it's a shock factor.
Yeah.
It's just a shock factor. And I think that's, I think people are always looking for something like that. You know, like if you ever post a picture, like, you know how goofy it was, but I posted a picture on LinkedIn, and it was me, like I was moving in, and you probably saw it because I never had like 8,000 views in all my life. Okay. I'm just saying, I mean, but I posted a picture of me with like totes, or the plastic totes, and I made a homemade desk. And I had 4 totes lined up. I had my second monitor, then I had my computer monitor. I had another tote where I put my coffee cup. And, somebody commented like, "Oh, I see you got a table stand too for your coffee cup." And then my chair I was sitting on the edge of my bed for my chair because I didn't have a chair. I mean, just everybody notices something, and it's a shock factor. And I think people will always be inquisitive enough to kind of throw something out there. And I don't know. I think it's kind of funny just from posts what people will recognize. Or if I wear a hat. Wearing a hat is probably the best thing I can do on the weekend. I call it's my relaxing hair day.
Well, yeah, because your hair is such your signature factor.
Yeah.
Like
that's right. And so I just say I don't have to do my hair up on the weekend, so I wear a hat.
So out of pure curiosity, like never would have planned to ask this question, but what pomade or hairstyling gel do you use?
Ooh.
Well, I do use obviously Big Sexy Hair. That's what everybody, you ladies all know that. But my wife has changed it up a lot. There was this, she switched up on me. She always gets a different thing just because she's a hairdresser. So I couldn't tell you the name of it, but it is kind of like a pomade. But, I usually like the cream one better than the really hard stuff. But anyway, I'm due for a cut because mine decides me.
So is it a one of these and you push it up and then it kind of just stays up? Like, how do you get the volume?
Oh, yeah, it just because I got thick hair. But yeah, I have to blow dry it and brush it.
Oh, okay. So it's like a blowout, like a.
That's right. I should video something someday.
Good. We need a live with Drive hair tutorial.
Yeah. We should do.
What's
his next TikTok?
Yep, that'd probably go viral.
Oh, I mean, yeah, people would. I mean, it's just goofy, but yeah, I mean, but people like goofy.
They do. I mean, they love you.
Aw.
You're probably. I mean, I can't think of anybody else in the automotive industry that has a personality similar to yours.
No.
I'll tell you what, the one thing is, I will say, I mean, it's pretty cool to be accepted in the automotive community. I know I've only been doing this 9 years, but, like I said, I've always just never try to make an enemy. I let the enemies kind of make me the enemy. Like, so in other industries, I always said, don't ever double cross me. I trust everybody until they don't earn my trust. Probably one of my biggest downfalls, but especially in automotive, but again, I came from different industries, medical and engineering, where you just had to trust everybody. You have to trust your team. You have to trust what your peers are saying, even competitors, just stay ethical. And I get it. Like in automotive, maybe it's not like that, but just like to stir the pot and build a reputation a little bit different. Look at Ashley here.
Ashley.
Hey, Ashley.
We love Ashley.
See, she just went through the same thing I did. She just moved from Minnesota down
to Texas.
Yep.
Bless her heart, man. I tell you, I don't wish moving upon anybody, man. We lived in that house for 20 years.
Right.
I couldn't even imagine. Like, I mean, I think the furthest move I've made in my memory times, like not as a baby, was from Arkansas to here and here to Arkansas, and that's an hour, and that was traumatic enough. So,
makes you get rid of a lot of crap.
Yeah,
I would
not. That's the beauty of it. And I told my wife, I said, if we're not using it in a year, just toss it.
Yeah.
So, Steve, what do you think is the biggest mistake that you see the most often inside of stores when they use Drive?
Responding to customers. I mean, it's just that, I mean, like I said, I think the old habits die hard. Doing the right activity at the right time. If I can tell dealerships to look at, let's say, a 10-day cycle when the customers are entering their phone up or their internet leads and things like that, 80% of the time the customer is buying a car within those 10 days or a little bit more. Yep. And so if you just focus on those 10 days and then let technology take over the rest, that's what the dealerships need to focus on. Because, I mean, as soon as they start seeing a digital showroom activity, like, I can see 10 customers that walked in my store. In most traditional CRMs, you can't see those 10 customers talking to your store. Mm-hmm. That's why they get ignored. And so with Drive, when you get that visibility to look and see every customer talking to you, you have to be in like what I call chat mode.
Right.
I'm chatting with text, I'm chatting with email, I'm chatting with video, I'm chatting with live streaming, I'm chatting to chat, right? You have to be in responsive mode. And what I'm looking for is a 10-minute response time to an active conversation. And having managers being able to quarterback conversations when the salesperson's out selling a car, it's like we have this term called fumble. It's probably the store more working together versus having salespeople or BDC be on their own island. It becomes more of a collaborative approach to the greater good of the store when they look at the engagement of the entire store. Right.
Yep.
So that's the hardest part. It's a culture change. I tell everybody, people say videos are a hard thing to build the culture on. But, I always say is what sells you cars is number one, responding to customers and keep that dialogue going. Back and forth. Video, no doubt, adds to the, selling cars, building that rapport, positive reaction to that customer to want to buy from you. That's just different than that stupid template that people send out.
Right, exactly.
You get me going on templates, I'll freak out.
Okay, final 2 questions. I'll keep them short because I know we're on a time crunch. You mentioned Digital Dealer and DC20. What other conferences do you have coming up that people can find you at?
Let's see. Digital Dealer. I can't make the bourbon and cigars, but that one's coming up here actually next week. But driving sales just canceled because of the OEM stuff. So that was kind of crazy. But we'll be at NADA, Digital Dealer, DC20, obviously. Trying to think what else is going on. It's just like trade show craziness, Yeah. Oh, the Sudacon. We're going to the Sudacon in Baltimore. That's coming up this month. Cool. But yeah, pretty much every trade show we're pretty much going to. So Used Car Week, I'll be at Used Car Week presenting. Awesome. So it's a lot of fun stuff. But then who knows where I'll be at? I mean, I just go wherever. I mean, dealerships. Hey, if there's a group meeting, dealerships sometimes will do quarterly meetings or annual meetings this time of year. So I've done like presentations in front of groups. Like video or the internet dating thing,
right?
OEM meeting. So yeah, it's fun.
Awesome.
Who are you rooting for tonight in the games?
KC's playing who?
Detroit.
Well, I'm rooting for Travis Kelce because he's on my fantasy team.
There you go. Okay.
So you better play tonight, girl.
Yes.
I got to look at all who's on my fantasy team. I root for my fantasy team.
Fair.
So, I mean, I just enjoy the game. If I got money on the game, then so be it. But I'm not really betting anymore other than fantasy football took all my craves away from betting on the teams.
That's fair. All right. And then what's the best way for everybody to connect with you?
Oh my gosh. Just, hit me up on social. Probably the best way. I mean, give a phone number out. Nobody's going to write it down.
Right.
It's an infomercial. Call Steve Roessler, 314-803-4334. Hey, infomercial. Write it down. No, they're not going to write it down. DM me. The Live Drive guys, Steve Roessler. I'm all over the place.
Yeah, you are. All right. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on with us today. We have enjoyed
Thanks for having me, girls. Awesome. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
We will see you in October at Digital Dealer.
Yes, we will.
You got it.
All right, guys. In a world where you can be anything, remember to be kind. So whenever you go out into the world this week, make sure to light it up. I am Jess.
I'm Shasta.
She is Shasta this time.
Yes.
And we've been the chicks in charge. Thanks, everybody.